Hello, good evening everyone. So once again, I welcome all of you in today's current affairs session. Okay, so today, 26th of December, I'll be taking you through some great news articles which are in the Hindu. Although there was not much relevant articles, but few of them were very good articles. Like I will be taking one article on polygamy. Okay, this is in relation to Assam, which has introduced recently a bill to prohibit polygamy. Okay, then prevention of sexual harassment of women at workplaces. The act has been also in news in one editorial that how it needs reforms. Okay, then personality rights and artificial intelligence. In the era of artificial intelligence, how personality rights are very important. Okay, then draft seed bill, what has been proposed and why farmers are opposing it. Okay, then rupee depreciation, why rupee has been depreciating continuously, worst performer in Asia. Okay, then FDI outflows, why foreign direct investment is flowing out of the country. Okay, so let's get going with the first article. The first article is about Assam's legislation which proposes jail term and heavy fines for polygamy. Okay, so before I tell you what is polygamy, before I tell you what is the law about, I must tell you what is polygamy. Okay, it is made up of two, this word is basically of two words. One says poly, means many, okay, and gamy means spouse, not only females. Okay, multiple wives, no. Polygamy means many spouse. Okay, polygamy basically has two forms. Okay, so I'm writing it here for you. Polygamy means multiple, having multiple spouse. Okay, it is of two types. One is polygyny, or also pronounced by some people as polygyny. Okay, and polyandry. Polyandry means having multiple husbands. Okay, polyandry means having multiple husbands, whereas polygyny means having multiple wives. Okay, so this is basic about the polygamy in India. Okay, so when you have multiple spouse, means having multiple wives, and this means having multiple husbands. Okay, now in India there are different laws which govern the institution of marriage and which talk about polygamy or polygyny. Get the point? Okay, now in India there are laws like Hindu Marriages Act of 1955. Hindu Marriages Act of 1955. Okay, this act basically deals with the marriages of people from the religion except Muslims. Okay, like Hindus, Buddhists, Jains and Sikhs. Okay, so in this polygamy is already prohibited. Polygamy is not allowed. Okay, for Parsis there is Parsi Marriage and Divorce Act of 1936. They also say that bigamy is basically not allowed. Okay, Parsis Marriage and Divorce Act 1936. That also says that polygyny is not allowed, polygamy is not allowed. Okay, in Muslim there is Muslim Personal Law, that is of 1937. Okay, Muslim Personal Law, Muslim Personal Law. So this Muslim Personal Law of 1937 allows polygamy, but only polygyny is allowed, not polyandry. Polyandry is not allowed. Polygyny is allowed according to Muslim Personal Law. Okay, now you have to understand that is it only prevalent among Muslims, or it is also prevalent among some other religions. Okay, in India, very surprisingly, we have found that the instances of polygyny are highest among the Christians. Okay, among Christians, which fall under Hindu Marriages Act, which prohibit completely the polygyny, but still 2.1% polygyny is found among Christians. Then Muslims, 1.9% instances of polygyny. Then also among the Hindus, 1.3% among the Hindus. 1.3% among the Hindus. This is as per the religious classification. If we go by the social classification, then among tribals, it is highest. Okay, among tribals, polygyny, not only polygyny, polyandry is also prevalent among tribals, scheduled tribes. Okay, 2.4% among scheduled tribes, among tribals 2.4%, among scheduled castes, it is about 1.4%. Okay, and also among the people from other backward classes, it is 1.2%. 1.2%. So this is on the basis of social categorization, and on the basis of religious consideration, this is the classification. Now, what is interesting to note here that although it is banned, but it is still practiced. That's why Assam felt that there must be a proper law which will be banning the polygyny or polygamy across the state. Now, you have to understand two or three more important things. Okay, about the polygamy. In Assam, the legislation in Assam says that tribals will be excluded. Tribals will be excluded from the Assam's Act. Why? Because they say that among tribals, it is a cultural practice and we have to prevent the tribal areas, and therefore Schedule 5 and 6 areas will be excluded. Okay. Schedule 5 and Schedule 6 deals with tribal areas. One deals with tribal areas of Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram, and another one deals with the tribal areas of other states. Okay, so these areas will be excluded in the latest act which is being introduced in Assam. Okay, one more important thing, that in Uttarakhand we have Uniform Civil Code. Uniform Civil Code in Uttarakhand. This has already banned polygamy. Okay. Now the Assam's legislation is the second attempt to ban polygamy in the state, polygamy in the state. Get the point? Now you have to also understand that Supreme Court observed in Lily Thomas versus Sarla Mudgal case. Sorry, Sarla Mudgal versus Lily Thomas case. You have to remember this case also because it is related to our topic. Okay, Sarla Mudgal versus Lily Thomas. You have to remember this case, Lily Thomas case. Sometimes in prelims they give you a question which of the following is correctly matched, and they mention a case and it is related to which aspect. In this case, Supreme Court said that anyone who converts to Islam only for the purpose of marrying multiple times, that conversion will be invalid. Okay, so it declared conversion for the basis of conversion for practicing polygamy as invalid. So this is all basics you need to know about the polygamy. Okay, now coming back to the news article. What has been highlighted in today's news article, that an anti-polygamy bill has been proposed by Government of Assam. Okay, legislature of Assam has tabled the bill in the legislature. Now, it has also said that we will be putting imprisonment as a punishment. Imprisonment plus fine. Not only those who are practicing polygamy, but also on those who are concealing the information about the polygamy, like the religious scholars who are solemnizing the marriage, they will also be put to punishment. Okay, now Assam government has sought public opinion. Okay, now what is the punishment? Imprisonment up to 7 years plus fine has also been said that up to 10 years of jail for concealing the existing marriage. 7 years if you have shown your existing marriage, but if you have hidden the marriage which you have solemnized earlier, then 10 years of jail. Also, there are provisions for those who help in concealment of marriage. But they have said that scheduled tribes which are falling under Article 352 of the Constitution, they will be exempted. They will be exempted because they have their own customary laws which allow multiple marriages. Okay. So, for tribals, why is the exemption? Because their customary laws allow polygamy. So, those tribals falling under Article 342, they will be exempted. They will be exempted from this legislation. I hope it is clear to all of you. Okay, proceeding further, there is also one bill which says that not only residents of Assam also people who are doing polygamous marriages out of the state of Assam. Maybe someone from Assam goes and marries in Mizoram. So outside Assam, if they marry, but they are residents of Assam, they will be also. So residents of Assam who willingly or knowingly enter into polygamous marriage outside the state, they are also being brought under the ambit of this law. Now the bill specifies that if somebody has contracted a marriage, polygamous marriage, before these laws come into force, those marriages will not be impacted, they will not be trialed. Okay. Now, so many people are criticizing it that it is to target a particular community or not. We are not supposed to go into those details. What we intend to say is that why polygamy is harmful or why it shall be banned. Because most of the people say that first of all, what happens, there is huge gender discrimination in the polygamous marriages, because mostly polyandry is not practiced, but what is practiced? Practice is polygyny. Okay. So also then there is also there are so many issues with socio-economic discipline. Okay. Social discipline gets violated because by nature has prescribed one marriages for humans. So by nature the disciplines get violated. So it violates the natural discipline, and it also contributes into social evils, manhandling of children, wrong upbringing of various children. So therefore so many issues come out of this. Okay. And at global level, very less acceptance of polygamy. So therefore that's why we are bringing such legislations, and we are trying to put a restriction on this polygamy. Okay. So this is all you must understand about the first article. Okay. Now next we are going to deal with the article number 2, which is related to the POSH Act, prevention of women from sexual harassment at workplace. Okay. So the complete name of the act is Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Act of 2013. Now it is also called as POSH Act, Prevention of Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace. The act was brought in 2013, but now they are saying that does this work? Does this act has validity and relevance even today? It has highlighted certain problems. Number one, there is low conviction. Means whenever someone files a complaint under this, very low conviction rate, very less number of people are punished under this act. Okay. So there are gaps in delivering justice to women. Number one. Number two, there is also one idea of consent. That consent means if someone has entered into a sexual activity by consent, this is also called as, this consent issue is also challenged in the act. Okay. Now there shall be a difference between consent and informed consent. Consent means someone takes the consent of a partner on wrong pretext. Okay. They show some wrong they lure them into wrong fake promises. Then they say that she has given the consent. Okay. Then the woman says, I have given the consent on these conditions. Those conditions were wrong. Those conditions were all lies. They were all fake. So therefore, there shall be a amendment in the consent clause, and we must add the word informed consent. Means consent shall be on the basis of all the facts. Whatever the facts are, they should be brought in front before taking the consent. Okay. And then also, consent loses its meaning when it is taken on all wrong facts. Okay. So therefore, informed consent issue is also highlighted. Okay. Consent on wrong facts means only betrayal and harassment. Get the point? Now also one more thing, it has been said that manipulative relationships and deceitful relationship lead to harassment. Okay. So there shall be some points of emotional harassment. Which this act lacks. Emotional harassment. Okay. So these provisions are not there into the in the law. Then it also says that there is a psychological exploitation of women. Okay. Psychological exploitation, emotional exploitation as well as psychological exploitation, putting psychological burden on the women who are working with the individual. Psychologically, they may blackmail them in different sorts of things. They are not basically brought under the Act. Moreover, the terminology used in the Act is also very troubling. Suppose someone has committed a sexual offense at workplace. That person should be called properly accused of the sexual harassment. But what the word use? The word used for the accused is respondent. So there is flawed terminology in the Act. Okay, respondent instead of accused. Because respondent means you are giving a shield to the individual, you are calling him respondent. Better he should be called as accused. So terminological, then there are very vague definitions of things like what is harassment and how much time you have to file a complaint. For filing a complaint, you have been given 3 months time, okay, which is very less, because they say that in 3 months, what can you do? You just prepare yourself emotionally. You just muster the courage. You discuss it with friends, family, and other people. So you need more time to discuss the issue of sexual harassment at workplace before filing a complaint. So 3 months time for filing complaint is very less for filing a complaint. This is a very lesser time. So that's why it has said that this act was wonderful act, but does it have equal relevance even in today? Today, there is no clarity about complaints of one institution at the another place, inter-institutional complaints. Like I'm telling you, suppose in one university, there is a faculty who is not faculty of that university, that faculty is visiting faculty. Now, if the visiting faculty commits sexual harassment at the university, where will you complain? At the place of duty or at the place where the professor originally belongs to? So, inter-institutional complaints, no clarity is there on inter-institutional complaints. Okay. Moreover, there is no the digital evidence dilemma. Why the digital evidence dilemma is there? Because on WhatsApp, I'll give an example. 24 hours, if you keep the security, that messages will disappear after 24 hours. Not able to take screenshot, single view photo options. Okay, these things are basically creating hurdles for evidences. You cannot keep much evidences. So therefore, there is basically the digital evidence dilemma that messages can be vanished, photographs appear only once, chats are encrypted. These are all the issues which are there in the POSH Act and which need to be redressed. I hope you have got clarity. Now you will remember this for long if you go through the article. Okay. Now what should be done? What should be done? First of all, there must be reforms in the POSH Act which shall be put in. Okay. Clearer language shall be used. Then timelines must be given longer for emotional and digital abuse, and then stronger investigation tools shall be put in place. Okay, and then also the victims shall be counseled properly to gain the confidence and muster the courage to file the complaints. And also the protection promised by POSH Act still remains symbolic than real in the digital era, because already 2013, a 12-year-old act now. The definitions must change. The nature of crimes have changed. Digital crimes are more than the actual physical crimes. Okay, so all that shall be brought under the ambit of the act. So this is what has been suggested, reforms in the past. Very, very important question related to social issues, particularly related to women. Get the point? Okay, now next. The next article is what are personality rights and how these rights are to be protected in modern day era. Okay, so first of all, I will talk about personality rights. The article talks about personality rights in the modern era of digitization or modern digital era. What are personal rights and how they shall be protected? AI generated videos which portray different people doing different things pose challenge to the personal privacy, liberty, as well as they may bring people into frustration and anxieties of different kinds. So first of all, I will define personality rights for you people. What are personality rights? Okay, personality rights include right which are basically right of having one's own control over one's own belongings. Okay, right over personal entities. I'm not saying personal things only, I'm saying entities. When I say entities, it includes an individual's name also, an individual's images also, an individual's personal choices, an individual's voice, an individual's likeness, okay, and personality rights advocate for unauthorized exploitation of these rights. The personality rights advocate for prevention of unauthorized exploitation. Now there are few cases. Like one case I must mention here for you people is the Amitabh Bachchan versus Rajat Negi case, okay, where personality rights were recognized in India. Okay, so one important case which I will highlight here is Amitabh Bachchan versus Rajat Negi. Okay, so in Amitabh Bachchan versus Rajat Negi case of 2022. In this case, the concept of personality rights was invoked. Okay. Now, in this Amitabh Bachchan versus Rajat Negi case, what happened basically? The personality rights were related to the voice of the actor was basically infringed. Okay. Then Anil Kapoor versus Simply Life India, a company, 2023. Okay. AI reproductions of identity of Anil Kapoor was used with the catchphrase of Anil Kapoor, that is basically JKAS. He uses that dialogue JKAS. That was deepfaked by AI. Okay, so it was also Anil Kapoor versus Simply Life India. Okay, another case. This is first case. Second case is Anil Kapoor versus Simply Life India. Okay, 2023. This was over the word JKAS, which was used through AI in wrong senses. And this was Bombay High Court. This JKAS word were banned from being used without the permission of the actor Amitabh Bachchan. Okay. In the same way, so many cases have also been said. Okay. Now, deepfakes, impersonation, you cannot copy an individual, you cannot make deepfakes. The Information Act of 2000 and the 24 intermediary guidelines have also said that we must not go for impersonation, copying the personality of an individual. Okay, then deepfakes were also prohibited. Okay, they have been made criminal offense under BNSS also. Okay, but still you will see that there are still violations. Then I will give you some examples. In USA, personality rights are called as rights of publicity, and they are transferable property interests that now in USA, personality rights are called as rights of publicity. So, robust mechanism is also in place in USA for protection of the personality rights. Okay. Moreover, in different parts of the country, there are different parts of the world, there is a need to protect these personality rights. Even in China, there is one court, that is Beijing Internet Court, okay, which has also given protection. Beijing Internet Court in China. Beijing Internet Court, special court dealing with cyber issues. Okay, Beijing Internet Court has also upheld the personality rights in China. Okay, even in other parts of the world, dignity of an individual and autonomy of individual over personal belongings has been focused. Even in UNESCO also calls for protection of dignity of an individual. As well as the personal belongings. Okay, now still we have, in particularly in the age of artificial intelligence, these things have become more prone and more vulnerable. So therefore, a robust mechanism globally as well as in India is required to protect the personality rights of an individual in the era of artificial intelligence. Because modern day, you cannot believe anything. Okay, Amitabh Bachchan on the backside, the voice of Amitabh Bachchan, but advertising some fake gambling tool, advertising some fake company, etc., etc. So these things are to be taken care of. Okay, this is article about the personality rights. Please go through it and you will find it wonderful. It is good for ethics also, ethics, integrity and aptitude. Okay, so now the next article is about draft seeds bill. Very, very important article. Very, very important article. The draft seeds bill. Okay. Now, what is a draft seeds bill? What is draft seeds bill? Okay. Draft seeds bill is about regulating the procurement, manufacture and distribution of seeds in our country. Okay. So, draft seeds bill is going to deal with quality of seeds. Draft seeds bill will be, it is a regulatory step to ensure quality of seeds sold and distributed. Sold and distributed to farmers. Okay, and it is said that draft seed will promote ease of doing business, because better quality of seeds we will be able to import from private players. Okay, but then farmers say, why do we need to import seeds? Our requirement for seed is 462 lakh quintals. Okay, how much do we produce? This is need. How much do we produce? We produce 508 quintals. 508 lakh quintals we produce. This is production. Okay, means we have already surplus of 46.29 quintals of 29 lakh quintals of seed. If we have surplus production of seeds, then why do we need to import seeds? Because of the quality issues. In domestic arena, we have already one act, Seed Act of 1966. 1966 Seed Act gives farmers rights, gives the farmer right that they can sow their own seed, they can resow, they can also sell that, they can use, they can exchange their own farm seeds. But now farm seeds, are they quality seeds? Till now they have been proved quality seeds, but now in the era of research and development, some quality questions have been arising. Okay, farmer organizations are protesting against this seed bill. They say that you are bringing private players, you want our farmers to compete with private players, you want farmers to compete with multinational companies of seed production. Now you are going to increase the cost of seeds. Now one question that has been raised is increasing cost of seeds. And because of increasing cost of seeds, there will be increased cost of agri production. When cost of agri production will go high, the farmers' losses will increase also, and that may also create a problem for farmers. Now, this bill says that we must keep separate dealers and sellers for seeds. Earlier, farmers were capable of doing the dealing as well as selling of the seeds. Now, farmers say that why do we need separate entities? Okay, then very important thing provided, we have provided two committees, one 27 member and 15 member. 27 member committee at the central level and 15 member committee at the state level to certify the quality of the seeds. Okay, here it is written. 27 member central and 15 member state seed committees. Now these committees will basically do what? They will put minimum limitations that how much seed you can produce, what genetic varieties you can use, okay, what physical purity you should maintain, what traits you can have in the seeds. So it has been given now in the hands of the central and state seed committees that they will decide what quality, what quantity of seeds are to be produced and procured and used by the farmers. Okay, so this was about the state and central seed committees. Now these state seed committees will also call for a registration of seeds. Registration of seeds. Earlier, this was basically not mandatory. Also, it has this act says we will have central and state testing laboratories. We will have central and state testing laboratories for the seeds. Okay. This act also calls for central and state testing laboratories. So this act also calls for testing laboratories. Testing laboratories at center and state level, which will certify whether the seeds are fit for use or not, whether the seeds are fit for use. But now this is the challenge is that it will increase the cost of cultivation. Okay, then small farmers are kept at the disposal of handful multinational and domestic monopolistic companies. Now the new draft must protect the farmers. There is one act, Plant Varieties and Farmers Right Act of 2001. Okay. So that act protects rights of farmers as well as the plant varieties. So this act should be a complement to that act, but they say that this act is basically harming that act, and all the protection which has been given to farmer in the Farmer Protection and Plant Varieties Act of 2001, that protection is gone because of the Seeds Act. Okay, so this has been challenged. Okay, moreover there is penalties. Penalties have been given for those people who are not following the seed guidelines. 50,000 to 30 lakh rupees penalty and 3-year imprisonment. Earlier in the previous act also, the penalties were 25,000 and 1-year imprisonment. They have been increased to 50,000 to 30 lakh and 3 years imprisonment. Get the point? So this is just for discussion. When it becomes a law, we will discuss it further. Okay, but overall, this is a good step to regulate the seed industry, because lot of seeds, poor quality of seeds with huge chemical content, unfit for growing crops, that is the problem. So this will address overall the nutritional issue, overall the quality of nutrition which we get. Okay, if it becomes a law, small minor adjustments, small minor modifications in the provisions, this is going to be a wonderful act, particularly important for agriculture sector in the economy. Get the point? Okay, yeah. Proceeding further, we will take one more thing for discussion. Rupee is Asia's worst performing currency. Why? Because it is consistently depreciating. Why it has been called world's worst performing currency? Because from January to December 2025, the rupee has gone down by how much percentage? 4.3% decline in value of rupee. When there is decline in value of rupee, it is called a depreciation. It is called depreciation. It is called depreciation. Okay. Now, currently it is around 89 rupees against the dollars, but it may go 90 or beyond 90 also against the dollar. Why India's currency is declining at this much pace? Because if you consider Indonesian currency, in Indonesia, the currency is rupiah. Rupiah. In China, the currency is yuan. Chinese yuan. In China, the currency is yuan. Okay. Now, these currencies have not declined at this pace, at the pace which Indian rupee has declined. So, there are serious concerns over it. Now, why this rupee has been, facing depreciation pressure for many months? It has never happened before that so many months rupee has gone so much downward trends. But what are the causes? What are the causes? The main causes, there are two causes. Okay, one is the US tariff shocks. With US tariffs, our exports have gone down, imports have increased. Because of increasing imports, we are paying so much dollars outside country, printing more money. That's why a supply of rupee has increased in the economy, and the prices has been gone or downwards. Okay, number two, the second is increases in the prices of bullion, increase in price of gold and silver. Due to this also, there is huge depreciation in Indian rupee. Okay, and also various factors are there. I have told you also, gold prices have spiked so much, and US tariffs have mainly two shocks. This is called twin shocks to rupee. Twin shocks, which have led to rupee depreciation. This is the article. So 2 points I have given for rupee depreciation. In detailed economics classes, I also tell what are the other ways how rupee depreciates, how RBI controls it, how government can control it, what steps government needs to check the rupee depreciation. Okay, they are basic economics things. But current affairs says that US tariffs of 50% and steep rise in the price of gold and silver have caused rupee to depreciate. Okay, another article is about FDI outflow, foreign direct investment outflow from India. Why FDI is flowing? It is saying that net FDI in India is negative. Net FDI in India means FDI by Indians abroad. FDI by foreigners in India. Whatever foreigners are investing in India minus whatever Indians are investing abroad, the result of this is negative. The result of this is negative. This is net FDI. Net FDI, if you define net FDI from this point, it means whatever foreigners are investing in India minus whatever Indians are investing outside the country. This will give you net FDI, and this is negative. When will it come negative? It will come negative only when FDIs in India will invest, Indians will invest more in abroad. It means Indians are investing more abroad. This is one reason. The another reason is foreigners are withdrawing their investment from India. Foreigners withdrawing their investment from India. Why? Because in India, ease of doing business has got a hit due to the US Trump tariffs as well as our domestic problems like inflation is there, like labor laws were so much complex. Okay, so now this article has highlighted two important things that only direct investment is in question. What do you mean by direct investment? Direct investment means when some individual invests in the company itself. They are not investing in the shares of the company. They are not investing in portfolio, but they are investing in what? They are investing in companies itself by purchase, being a part of the company. Get the point? Now, moreover, FDI picture looks better for the longer period, and even in today's if we are inching closer towards USA for a trade deal. If that trade deal is finalized, then FDI picture may improve further. Further. Okay, but if you see the July-September quarter, there has been 15.4% increase in overall FDI. This data is basically only for the September and August. August and September we have seen negative net FDI outflow. Okay, but overall if we see in the quarter of July to September, FDI was 15.4% more than July-September 2024. Means if we see long-term picture, if we see the long-term picture of FDI, it is slightly better. But if we see short-term, in the past 2 months, net FDIs are negative. Net FDIs are negative. Clear that? Now, when we see strong inflows of FDI, so many companies are also investing in India, but still the figures have negative. In net, it is negative. It means that Indians are also investing more in foreign countries. Indians are investing more in foreign countries. So this is all you should understand about this article. Again, one important article for your economy, some 2 or 3 points, very good points, that FDI is decreasing in past 2 months. In long term, FDI picture is very good because we are 15.4% more as compared to previous year in July-September quarter. Then moreover, if we inch closer, if we go closer to the deal with US, if trade deal with US is, trade deal with US gets finalized, that will create a positive investment environment, and due to positive investment environment, the FDI inflows will see increase. Okay, so what we need is, we need to create a positive investment environment. One problem of the FDI outflows is basically also the uncertainties which are looming over Indian economy. Uncertainties which are looming over Indian economy. Okay, get the point? So this is all you must understand about the topic related to FDI. So I think this much is sufficient from today's newspaper. Tomorrow I will come back with some other aspects of the current affairs. Thank you so much for joining me today.